6:22 right now, and want to check in with Rachel Sutherland. After the weekend, the president's proclamation on mass migration is now in effect. Rachel Sutherland, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Yes, it is, and this just means that he's been talking about this for quite some time, that migrants who come over the border, if they don't come through an official port of entry, they won't be allowed to apply for asylum. So this is in effect for about 90 days. This is something the president's been talking about for quite some time, especially since that caravan has started this journey. By the way, they've left Mexico City heading northward, I believe, still upwards of 6,500 people still traveling, hoping to get to the U.S. border. So, yeah, I mean, this is already facing legal challenges. The reaction has not been pleasant to this. The ACLU went ahead and filed in the U.S. District Court in San Francisco, saying this is in direct violation of Congress's mandate that just because you don't come through an official port of entry doesn't mean it's a categorical asylum bar. But that's what the president is saying with this proclamation.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see, because these cases are going to at some point land at the doors of the Supreme Court, and this is now this is really President Trump's Supreme Court. It'll be interesting to see how they decide.
Yeah, it will be. I mean, we can't just assume that it's going to be in the president's favor, but you're right. The makeup of the court certainly is on the president's side, and the president has expressed he doesn't seem to mind the lawsuits, because the president has expressed optimism that when it does reach the high court, that they'll see it his way, and they may. I mean, but and this is one thing the president said: you just can't have people pouring through. At least go through an official port of entry. So I don't know. Maybe the migrant caravan will get that message.
Well, that. I mean, when are we expecting the caravan to arrive? Probably not until January, right?
Of 2020.
Well, if they keep walking, there is something called the train of death. Fox's William Longinus was telling me about this. A train of death could get them there faster, and it's literally this dangerous train in which a lot of them will cling to the rooftops like something out of a movie. There are bandits on there. They get robbed. There are drug lords. It's just really dangerous. So they may try to do that, but that could be very dangerous and arduous.
All right. We'll see what happens. Rachel Sutherland, thanks so much. We appreciate it. It is Monday. Today is the observed Veterans Day, which means there'll be no mail, no school, no banks, and all of that stuff. Let's see. Can we talk a little bit about the Buffalo Bills? Is Davey in there? Davey, you got to be pretty pleased after this Barkley. How many times did you hear somebody over the weekend saying, "Who is this Barkley guy?" Yeah. Well, guess what? Pretty impressive, huh?
Sure was. It's the resurgence of Matt Barkley.
Yeah, pretty wild.
I at first got excited.
Not sure it's the resurgence of the Bills, but it is the resurgence of the quarterback problem, because the Bills have a bye week coming up, and by then Josh Allen should be ready to go. So what do?
I think you start Matt Barkley.
Wow, that's surprising from Smitty.
Well, that he had a problem with interceptions when he was with Chicago.
Yeah,
and but he certainly didn't yesterday. And the other controversy is Benjamin. Bills fans are livid over his lack of effort. And it really, there was one tipped ball yesterday. I swear to God, he just kind of looked at it. Didn't even make an attempt.
Yeah.
And he's getting ripped on over that. What else?
I honestly thought it was Ryan Nassib for a second, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I mean, what a weekend for Syracuse all around. But
we'll get to Syracuse coming up too.
But I'm thinking, oh gosh, this is great. How appropriate that Syracuse is doing. Oh, that's Matt Barkley.
There was one other thing I wanted to talk about. This receiver Zay Jones, who had he connected really well with Barkley.
Where was he playing before? Has he always been with Buffalo?
He just came with Buffalo. I'm not sure where he was before.
He's played somewhere else.
Anyway, after he scored a touchdown, made a great reception in the end zone, he took a white small towel out of his pocket there, and began waving it to the cameras. You couldn't see what was written on it, but apparently it was this poncho. And you familiar with that at all? Poncho Billas. He's a legendary Bills fan who apparently is going through
he's got cancer or something.
Cancer treatment.
Yeah.
And before the night before, so Saturday night, he addressed the team I forget what the number is, but he's been to I don't know how many consecutive Bills games since. It dates back years, but that's what he had poncho written on there and dedicated to him. And that guy spoke to the team on Saturday night. I think you got to make sure he's speaking to the team every game.
Yeah.
Right? Before every game. Syracuse University with a huge blowout over Louisville, and it resulted 2 days later in the firing of their coach.
I think, and people are going to say you're nuts. I really think Syracuse is going to give ND a run for their money.
Syracuse plays Notre Dame at Yankee Stadium.
And I'm considering going to by the way.
On Saturday, and I think there are tickets available, but they're pretty expensive seats. But that'll be
I'll
quite
stand
a game.
on the white picket fence around the stadium.
What else did I want to dig into? Of course, today being Veterans Day, at least the observed Veterans Day, along the Parkway, there's the Flags for Heroes, and the OD is reporting that this was done by the Good News Center, and it's just a sea of flags as you drive up the Parkway. It's really something to see. But officials, according to the OD with the Good News Center, believe that some of the American flags that make up its Flag for Heroes display along the median of the Parkway may have been vandalized. They got yanked, said Irene Menelesco, marketing and media coordinator for the Good News Center. Tags on the flags, someone pulled them off. Flags for Heroes is a 10-day display of 1,000 full-sized American flags. They began being displayed back on November 2nd, and they're saying that they believe people yanked them out of the ground. Now, I got to tell you, it was pretty windy over the weekend. I guess that's possible, but they do say that they believe they were yanked out. So some form of vandalism. You got to wonder why, if that's exactly the case. 6:30. Andrew will update the news coming up in a second. Also, recounts all over the country. And Evan Brown from Fox News will get him to talk about it coming up as well. And I want to play audio from Saturday Night Live over the weekend. Boy, I got to tell you something. After Pete Davidson made an idiot of himself by telling this joke about the congressman who lost an eye, as a veteran, lost an eye during an explosion while fighting for this country, he's received great criticism. Well, the congressman showed up on SNL.
Yeah, I saw this.
And it's worth replaying.
Definitely.
I got to tell you, especially on Veterans Day. 6:30 at WIBX. Giants play tonight, Jeff Manaski.
Yeah.
Giants play tonight. And what they're saying is on the quarterback deal. What's the latest here?
Well, that Eli...
he's starting.
Yes.
This might be his last start.
Yes, it's possible that this is going to be the end. Although, I guess the situation with Kyle Lauletta isn't resolved, so he could be in jail, couldn't he, by the time the next game rolls around?
Anything could happen. I don't know. I'm a Bills fan. It was a good weekend, believe it or not. You bring in some quarterback, you have no idea even who he is. And all of a sudden, it's like, okay, we finally gotten there.
We're resulted to trying people out in the parking lot before the game.
Sooner or later, you ought to be able to get there, right?
LaShawn McCoy ran for 115 on the ground.
He was huge yesterday.
His biggest game of the year by far.
Let's see. The winners of the last night were the People's Choice Awards. The People's Choice Awards. Nicki Minaj dedicates Best Album win to Kim Kardashian's butt. That must have been good. What else? Jimmy Fallon thanks his soulmate, Justin Timberlake. Here we go.
For the nighttime talk show of 2018. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon.
Hey, guys, thank you very much for this. I want to thank NBC. I've been, this year marks my 20th year at NBC. And,
right, because he was SNL before that, right?
Yes. I can honestly say I've never been fatter. I want to thank Steve Burke.
Okay. What else? Anything? Blake Shelton and Carson Daly make Gwen Stefani come up on stage. Oh, the excitement.
We want to say to our crew at NBC and our cast, thank you very much. We also want to, of course, acknowledge the firefighters and certainly the veterans today. And we have our own coach, Gwen Stefani. I want to thank Gwen Stefani before Blake does. Oh, my God. Thank you, Gwen, and all of our coaches on The Voice.
All-time favorite coach right there, Gwen Stefani. I love her.
Yeah. Aren't they together?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, of course he does.
Yeah.
Let's see, and I'll get to the. I will get to the Saturday Night Live episode. Some good stuff over the weekend. I thought it was a funny SNL, and Pete Davidson. It was a moment you'll probably never forget. One of those iconic moments on SNL.
When the bit started, or he came on halfway through the bit, and I'm like, is this really the guy, or are they taking the joke to the next level?
Yeah, no, it's the guy.
No, I had known that I saw a press piece on it before, so I knew it was coming, which is probably why I made sure I watched it. But it was good, and I thought Davidson was sincere, and I thought he ended up getting the best of Pete Davidson. While it's all part of the script, it was still good, and it had to be slightly uncomfortable for Davidson, although it rescued him. And by the way, for this congressman, and we'll talk about it coming up, this might be the greatest thing that's ever happened to him. He was good. He could tell a joke. He could read a prompter. He was entertaining. He was funny. He handled it
good timing,
unbelievably well. Yeah. And then his statement about Veterans Day and how we should look at it and what we should say to veterans is really big. We'll play audio coming up in a second. So, Evan Brown standing by right now from Fox News. Well, Florida Secretary of State has ordered the recount in the Senate and gubernatorial race. Here we go again in Florida. Good morning, Evan.
Good morning. Good morning. It's not just those two races either. We have a couple. We have some other races, including the State Agriculture Commissioner, which is being kind of overlooked nationally, but I think it's very significant because it's the State Agriculture Commissioner in Florida handles the issuing of concealed carry permits. And normally conservatives hold this seat and win it without problem. They have had a tight race. They are being recounted, and what's very telling is that the Democrat who ran on gun control issues has the lead, even though it is extremely slight, hence needing the recount.
Yeah.
But and I think that's an interesting thing to note in the post-Parkland, first-time post-Parkland, that this race has been up for election. So
well, and
this office has.
These young kids have been extremely. They didn't just disappear. They have stayed.
No, they did not. Yeah, they have. This is a group of kids that I think young adults. Adults may really at this point.
I guess.
Who take their civic responsibilities quite seriously and have felt very empowered to make the changes they think are necessary, and you can't deny they've been somewhat successful in keeping the issue in the public discourse. So there you go. So back to recounting. We have a statewide recount that's going on. It was ordered to commence Saturday. It is supposed to be finished with results delivered to the state capitol by Thursday. One of the two counties in which there are problems has already said they are not going to make that deadline. That's Palm Beach County,
they said
which has gotten a lot of critics to say, hey, there's shenanigans going on, and we need to have this further investigated. Yeah. And it is a problem with both Palm Beach and Broward County, where votes seem to appear out of nowhere and then seem to get counted, and there's no questioning or at least no revelation of where these ballots were or where they came from, and why weren't they counted on election day to begin with, and so on and so forth. So it's certainly a mess, and it has a lot of people agitated. And I think, unlike the 2000 recount, we now have things like Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and social messaging, and it's just making things infinitely more tense.
Well, and a president who uses those platforms, such as Twitter, to say corruption.
The president who uses it, but there's the president who uses it, but then there are, anyone can really be a one-person broadcast network now.
You're right.
With just using their smartphone.
Yep.
And they have the ability to get images that may or may not be manipulated out into the ether for everyone to see and ingest and emotionally react to.
Yeah.
So it's social media is very freeing and very problematic simultaneously.
No doubt about it. All right. Well, this is going to be interesting, and I assume, correct me if I'm wrong, this is going to go on for a little while. It ain't going to be done by Thursday.
Like I said, Right. The thing is, in Florida, if the results are within a half a percentage point, you get a machine recount. If they end up being within a quarter percentage point, it's a by hand recount.
Yeah.
So if the machine recount ends Thursday and then have to go to by hand, which they probably will because certain races are already that close.
Yeah.
Then this could take weeks for sure.
Evan Brown, thanks so much. We appreciate it.
You got it.
All right. From Fox News. How about some audio on the Pete Davidson thing? I've been talking about it. Last week, Pete Davidson made a controversial joke about Congressman-elect Dan Crenshaw, who lost an eye in Afghanistan and wears an eye patch. So on Saturday night, he apologized, and Crenshaw, this was during the news segment, Crenshaw was there, and here's audio. It was pretty good.
I mean this from the bottom of my heart. It was a poor choice of words. The man is a war hero, and he deserves all the respect in the world, and I'm sorry.
Thank you, Pete. I appreciate you saying that.
So we good?
We're good. Apology accepted.
Just keep breathing.
Now, that is an Ariana. It's made to sound like it's a ringtone.
Yes.
It's an Ariana Grande song. And, of course, Pete Davidson seemed to be really a wreck with this breakup with Ariana Grande. He talked about it on SNL. He seemed upset. Then all of a sudden, she came up with a song that actually included him in there, like, what is it, Get Over It or something? I don't know, move on to the next one. I forget what the name of it is. Anyway, this is one of her songs, and it just so happens to be on the congressman's phone as his ringtone. Kind of funny.
It sounds like my phone's ringing.
You going to answer that?
No, and I was just going to let it ring, because that's rude to answer. Let's just let it go to voicemail.
No, it's cool. It's like cool, man. Yeah.
Oh, do you know her?
All right, so that's funny. All right. So last week, I made a joke about a picture of you, and I feel like it would only be fair if you got me back and made fun of a picture of me. Does that sound okay?
I don't really need to do that.
No, come on. I deserve it.
All right, I'll do
Please? All right.
And now, first impressions. With
Okay, can I just say, though, his timing, Crenshaw's timing is spot on. He has an ability to place things perfectly in a comic world. So I thought he was really entertaining. This guy's stock has just raised tremendously, right? Everybody, no one would know who he is.
I'm telling you, he was sitting there, and I'm like, please let this really be the
real guy,
so they're not continuing this joke. But
it was the real guy, and I think he did really well. Here are his jokes as he delivers them.
Commander Dan Crenshaw.
Thanks, Colin. This is Pete Davidson. He looks like if the meth from Breaking Bad was a person.
Not bad. So there, we're even. All right.
Hold on, one more. This is. All right. He looks like a troll doll with a tapeworm.
Yeah, man. All right, that's good. We should wrap this up.
Oh, hold on. No, this is.
I don't know why
your audio always stops.
Always stops.
The great joke is coming up. I forget what it is.
See if I can get it to play again. I don't know why this
wasn't. They already
stops.
did. The troll doll one was the first one.
Anyway, after he, what was it? It was like you look like
a troll doll
with a tapeworm. No, he just did that. Yeah. So it was about somebody who used to be on SNL and somebody who's currently on SNL. I believe
one of them is funny.
Yes, and one of them
was funny.
Yes.
So. Oh, it was. Yeah. But then it was also the ringtone, too, which...
He already did that. It was the first thing.
Congressman-elect Dan Crenshaw on SNL did accept the apology of Pete Davidson. He told some great jokes, but then gave a message of unity that's perfect for Veterans Day. Listen to this.
There's a lot of lessons to learn here. Not just that the left and right can still agree on some things, but also this: Americans can forgive one another. We can remember what brings us together as a country and still see the good in each other. This is Veterans Day weekend, which means that it's a good time for every American to connect with a veteran. Maybe say thanks for your service, but I would actually encourage you to say something else. Tell a veteran, never forget. When you say never forget to a veteran, you are implying that as an American, you are in it with them, not separated by some imaginary barrier between civilians and veterans, but connected together as grateful fellow Americans. We'll never forget the sacrifices made by veterans past and present, and never forget those we lost on 9/11, heroes like Pete's father. So I'll just say, Pete, never forget.
And that ended a little short, too. But either way, it was pretty powerful.
I'm sorry.
Very powerful.
I forgot about that Pete Davidson's father died in 9/11.
Yeah. Got a break. Hold on. We'll come back. It's 6:51. It is Veterans Day, and we're all in. And lots to get into here this morning. Coming up, we'll talk to, I have a free money question we'll get into. It's the free money question of the day from the Hobico Law Firm here on Veterans Day. It's worth $100. We'll do it in the 7 o'clock hour. It's become something completely different now.
Yeah, let's go shopping on Thanksgiving.
It's Thanksgiving, but beyond that, some of these guys, these places already have their deals already underway. And others, they're already announced. I mean, they've already announced them, which I guess has always happened.
Yeah.
But so they'll do it on Thanksgiving Day, and then you can come in the next morning and wait in line again, and it's Black Friday all over again.
So the actual collective day, I think, might go away, the one day where it's celebrated, but this is still a launch of the holiday season, and come get the best deals for the retailer.
I get it.
So that'll probably,
But I believe Black Friday as we knew it is gone.
Yeah, I think it was gone probably 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah. And now a lot of these deals you can get online. So why do you need to run to the store and bump into somebody and fight with somebody? You don't even need to do that stuff anymore.
Listen, my job is to break up the fights at Walmart, okay? So you will come and you will fight. Otherwise, I won't have a job.
On the 8th, mysteriously, the Walmart ads were leaked. Ooh, the Walmart Black Friday 2018 ad has landed.
Trump leaked them.
And you want to know some of the deals? Let's see. You can get an iPhone 6 on Straight Talk or Total Wireless for $99.
How much?
$99.
And it was an iPhone what?
An iPhone 6.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah. Let's see. There's a Sony PS4 1 terabyte slim Spider-Man bundle for $199. Is that a good price? How about a 4K?
I guess for a PlayStation.
How about a 65-inch 4K TV at Walmart? It's Roku Smart, 4K. I did say that. $398. How about a 40-inch, another 40-inch TV for $90? A 40-inch TV for $90.
That's a heck of a deal. Oh, my goodness.
How about a 30-gallon fish tank with a stand and with a pump and filter for free?
What? Get out.
Yeah, it's my Black Friday special.
I knew it was yours.
And it's in my car right now. I brought it in. It's either going to Goodwill or somebody's going to pick it up and take it home today.
How in the world did you get it in by yourself?
It's my Black Friday special.
Not to criticize, but I mean that's a big thing for you to load in your trunk by yourself this morning.
It's 30 gallons. It's not that big.
Oh, I'm thinking it's like the one.
And it's got a stand with it. It's got a nice little wooden stand with it. We'll bring it in for next hour. And if somebody would like it, just call me, and it's my Black Friday special this morning. 315-736-0186. You can have it. Now, I want to tell you, it's been used 1 year. I used it for our the goldfish that we have in our pond. And now we put a little heater in there so that the fish stay outside all winter, and I have no reason to keep the fish tank.
What's the, I've never done business with you. What's the return policy on something like this?
There is no return. As a matter of fact, once you actually touch it,
you're
it's
responsible.
Gone. It's gone. It's all yours.
No extended warranty.
No. But it works perfectly fine. And it's got one of those whisper filters. So it kind of drains in. It's really beautiful. It'll need to be cleaned up slightly, but it's very nice. So what I'm saying is I'm giving it away. It's either going to Salvation Army today, wherever I will take it, or someone can take it here off my hands.
Caller 1 at 736.
736-0186. It's my Black Friday special. What else? Oh, and they have a Hover One Liberty hoverboard for $99 at Walmart.
Are you surprised these things have kind of petered out, for lack of a better term? That these were like when these hit the market, they're like, oh, Back to the Future was right. You can have a hoverboard. And I feel like the technology's kind of stalled on these.
Well, they sell for more than $99. That's a pretty good price.
Yeah.
When you think about it.
Get a TV for $40, a 40-inch for $90.
How about Best Buy? Doors open at 5 p.m. on Thanksgiving. Best Buy, theirs have leaked too. There's a Toshiba 43-inch TV for $129. A Samsung 65-inch 4K at $599. And how about this? An LG 70-inch TV for $700. Is that a good price? They're doing $300. You can save $300 on a Samsung Galaxy Note. Laptop starting at $400. Oh, there's another laptop, a Samsung laptop, for $129. And oh, better, an 11.6 Chromebook from Samsung for $99 while supplies last.
That's unreal, especially because when you think about when, personal computers and laptops were coming out, they're in the $800, $900, $1,000.
I'll try to throw in some more before we break. Target's ad leaked also. Get ready to save. How about an app? Let's save $149 on an Apple Watch. Google Home Mini, save $25. You can get a crock pot steamer for $69.95 at Target. And they have a TV, too. Their TV is a 55-inch for $199.
So the 40-inch $90
I'm not
deal
done yet. There's more.
Incredible.
Kohl's Doorbusters. Their Echo Dot is selling for $24. They have a Canon camera setup with a digital camera, $399. And they have that same little steamer crockpot thing for $69.99. How about that?
Wow.
And then there's one more. I'll throw you Macy's. I'm out of time. Macy's, they have a crock pot for $19.99. So
that's more
you
my
could
style.
be crocking the pot. You could be crocking the pot with these Black Friday specials beginning next week. Want that fish tank? Call us. It's gone. A lot of talk about, especially during this last campaign, about opioid abuse and the struggles that we have in this country. Are we in the midst of losing another war on drugs? On the line right now is Dr. John Dybin. Is that where we're at, Doc?
Well, there's no question that the war on drugs in the most traditional sense, which, people think of 1971 and Nixon declaring this war on drugs, there is no question that it has been a miserable failure. We've gone, from 40, 50,000 people incarcerated, and then in 1980 to by 2015 we had almost 500,000 people incarcerated just on drug offenses, and yet the leading cause of death today, accidental death, is drug overdose.
Yeah.
So it's getting worse.
It is getting worse. This opioid crisis, which came out of nowhere. I mean, who would have thought it would be overprescribing for pain? And that seems to be what really caused the latest problem we're in the midst of.
No question. And the truth is there have been people people that have been kind of seeing it coming for a long time and shouting for a long time, this is going to get worse. But it's only in the past few years that people have begun to pay attention to it. But it really started in the late 80s and early 90s when, a pharmaceutical company got the ear of the Joint Commission, which accredits hospitals and doctors, and they said, hey, you need to be pushing these drugs more. Well, guess what? They had just created OxyContin, and they put out a lot of misinformation, saying that it wasn't addictive.
Yeah.
Now, of course, we know it is. So I think the key is to really, we've got to pay attention to the people who are on the front lines, the scientists and the medical practitioners who are saying, no, we're seeing something different. Just putting a pill to a problem is not going to solve things. It's going to make it worse.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, 60 Minutes had done a special where they had interviewed an incarcerated doctor who was ultimately charged and sentenced and held responsible for overprescribing. But they said something interesting, that nobody from the pharmaceutical realm, pharmaceutical company realm, has ever been prosecuted. Do you see that coming down, or them being more held responsible?
Well, I sure hope so. The problem is, I think it's going to be more like like we saw with big tobacco. Actually, the problem is you're talking about the multi-billion-dollar corporations, and it's hard to nail down who did what, right? So I think we most certainly need to hold, when you have these multi-billion-dollar corporations who are clearly complicit. We know now objectively that they, provided bad science and bad information, in the early 90s that really contributed to this. And Purdue has actually paid out quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I think we will see more of that in the future.
Michael says it feels like we stand a better chance of winning the war in Afghanistan than we do the war on drugs. Prohibition, and that war on drugs was a lot about marijuana in the day, both with with Nixon and with Reagan. Now we're legalizing marijuana across the country. Is that the best strategy when it comes to marijuana, you think?
Well, I think decriminalization is something that we're going to see, happen, and we don't really know. I mean, my particular perspective is healthcare, right? So that's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in healthcare. And I think the key to this right now is we have, without any question, overall with drugs, we have an epidemic. So the epidemic, though, isn't a drug, right? Alcohol is a drug. Nicotine is a drug. Marijuana is a drug. Cocaine, heroin, all these things are drugs. The key that we have to understand is that in some people will use these drugs. Some people will go smoke pot and they'll never have a problem. Some people will drink alcohol and never have a problem. But in a percentage of the population, anywhere from 11 to 20%, depending on which studies you look at and such, they will develop a disease, a literal disease called addiction. And this disease, if left untreated, will kill them. Yeah. And unfortunately, we have not treated it as such. So essentially, the war on drugs really it's like talking about the war on cancer. And we're gonna get people not to have cancer. And doggone it, we're gonna arrest them if they do. And we're gonna that's the stuff. The people who are dying have this disease, and we have to treat it like a healthcare epidemic that it is.
Well, the one thing, though, that we cannot deny is prohibition. Back in the 20s and 30s, it created crime, and it didn't stop anybody really from drinking. And you kind of wonder if the same thing is true here when it comes to marijuana.
Well, I think that when it comes, there isn't any question that that's the reality. Putting tens of thousands of people in jail for nothing else certainly is not the answer.
Not the answer. Dr. John Dibin, thank you so much for taking the time. We appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you.
We'll break. Hold on. 7:20. Some more of those. By the way, Best Buy's Black Friday specials start today.
Wow.
They have Black Friday specials going every day right up until Black Friday. So you want to know what you can save on a TV today? I'll tell you what that is for your Black Friday special. The biggest Black Friday special is actually a Black Monday special. It's this beautiful fish tank that's going for 100% off, and it's a beauty, and it's gone.
Do we have to keep it here till the guy picks it up?
Yeah, he's coming to get it. He's on his way right now, Davey. Right? I can't see you through the fish tank, but he's on his way now, right?
Sometime today.
Sometime today.
All right. Well,
that's great.
Yeah. We'll just put that right in Jeff's office. That's perfect. We'll break at 7:20.
There's no guy from Poland, is there?
7:21 at WIBX. Did I mention you can save $500 on a TV at Best Buy right now?
Well, you said a 40-inch for $90.
That's a 65-inch Samsung Magnolia. So it's got to be something really special. It's $12.99, but you save $500. Here's one. Here's a 43-inch Samsung for $299, or a 50-inch for $329. You save $120 off, and that special is good today.
Wow.
They're already started
Are
the
those
Black
other
Friday
ones?
specials.
Like that, so that TV
everything's
that
good
Jeff's,
today.
Oh, Jeff's already gone.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. No.
Everything starts today. It's crazy.
We don't need another TV.
I know.
Speaking of retail, I'm hearing Spectrum Mobile. And the difference, now I could be wrong on this, but what I'm told is Spectrum, if you get a phone, let's say you get an iPhone from Spectrum Mobile.
Okay.
Or you want to switch to Spectrum Mobile.
Okay.
You can't use your current iPhone because your current iPhone would be one that is AT&T or Verizon. Remember, it used to be if you got an AT&T phone, you could only use it for AT&T.
Yeah.
If you got a Verizon, the same thing. Now they've switched that up. You can interchange back and forth. But if you get Spectrum Mobile, I'm told that you can't.
Why?
I don't know.
Wasn't there a while for a while it was only AT&T had the iPhone for like the
the very beginning AT&T did. Yeah, they were the only one to have it.
It was like, oh my goodness, what the heck? And
you could only use it on AT&T.
Right.
Well, but for them,
I'm just saying.
Yeah, it just seems weird to me for them to launch and try to compete in this business to tell potential new customers you have to buy a phone from us. Kind of kills the deal for a lot of people.
Well, it would.
The package
depending on the deal they have.
$45, I believe it's for 2 gigs and a phone, or 2 gigs in your service.
And do you get the phone with it?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's a decent. I'm
decent
paying like
service,
$70,
but you
I think.
still got to buy the phone. Let's see. So I'm hearing that in the what's the plaza there with Best Buy and Walmart? That's called
Consumer Square.
Yes.
Consumer Square. So as you drive into Consumer Square and you go straight up. By the way, the people at Consumer Square are the best at doing yard work. Have you seen
it's nice.
I mean, it's beautiful. They've still got mums that are full in bloom or something over there. Every day you go in, it's like they've replaced the mums. Wow, these guys are good. Their gardening department's incredible. Anyway, that building that's empty as you go forward.
Yeah,
I had heard originally that was going to be designed as a cheesecake factory express, like a smaller version of Cheesecake Factory. But then they said it was too small, so they backed out of the deal. I don't know if that's true or not.
Never too small for cheesecake.
I love running with rumors, but that's what we're doing. I think we can do it in retail. But the word I'm getting now is that building is now going to be a Spectrum Mobile building.
Oh.
And that's what's going to move in there.
This is fresh off the rumor mill, huh?
Fresh off the rumor mill. Yeah.
So, thoughts on that? Well, you wouldn't change, would you? You love your
I'm an AT&T guy.
Yeah, for life. He's got a tat on his cheek about
Well,
it.
I believe that Greeley Ford has pictures on me, and he said if you ever leave AT&T, I'm releasing the photos.
Yeah.
How about some audio here this morning? A couple of stories from over the weekend. How about this one? Dad recorded his dramatic drive-through. These wildfires, 31 people as of this morning have died.
Oh, my God.
Did you see that the, what's her name? I forgot her name. Her house. All these celebrities' homes are burned right to the ground. Not just celebrities, but everybody. The set from Westworld burned in these wildfires.
Wow.
But here is a picture of a dad recording his dramatic drive through the wildfire in North California, and kept calm the whole time for his young daughter, who was in the back seat.
We're not going to catch on fire, okay?
Now, just so you know, the guardrail's on fire on one side. The other side had a brush fire. Emergency vehicles were coming from the other direction. But Dad kept his cool the entire time, and the daughter gives him props. Here we go.
Stay away from it, and we'll be just fine. Okay? We're doing all right. Baby, it'll be all right. We're going to get out, okay? We're going to leave.
But we're gonna get fired.
No, we're going to get out of here. And we'll come back when it's more Princess Poppy, okay?
Meanwhile, the guy's like ready to lose it.
Yeah.
They got out safely. But 31 people have died up to this point. It's really, really bad. Administrators at Colorado State University say students should no longer use the phrase "long time no see" because it's offensive. It's derogatory. Long time no see. Hey, Bob, long time no see.
What's offensive about it?
Apparently, it's
a blind joke?
No, it's not towards blind people, but towards people of Asian descent.
What?
It's because the phrase originated as an example of broken English used by Chinese immigrants. Long time no see. That's what they're saying.
But, I mean,
or something like that.
Long time. I just don't.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Here's some actual audio of someone using long time no see.
Long time no see.
There you go. Derogatory.
That's so.
That's like saying
exclusive audio of somebody saying.
That's one of the 7 phrases you can't say on radio.
You know, when I was a kid, they used to say ain't a word. Okay, but now in my adulthood, everybody uses it. Everybody uses it everywhere. It's like saying you can't use the ain't word. You can't use the word ain't, even though it's not a word, because you're racist, because it really
originated.
It wasn't a real word. So
yeah.
at some point, somebody of less intelligence came up with that word, and you're being offensive.
Yeah. A 78-year-old guy in North Carolina got attacked by a bear in his front yard last Tuesday, but survived by punching the bear in the nose. They say it works. You want to try it out?
Never.
No, I don't think so. And to make matters worse, it was a mama bear with 2 cubs, and it bit him on the hip and knocked him back 8 feet.
Get out of here.
Yeah. They say that a mother bear once she feels she has taken the threat away, she's reduced the threat, will go away. She's not into, mauling and maiming you, unless you're still a threat.
She goes back to folding the diapers or something like that.
So this guy's 78 years old. Listen to this.
And I just happened to look around, and there's 3 bears right there beside me. She's made.
There was the mama bear.
I'm not
and the
buying
2 babies.
this
No, it's
story.
real. It's a
I'm
real
not
story.
buying this
Listen, it's a real story. Listen to his story before you judge.
It run at me. That sucker was eyeball to eyeball to me. I hit her right dead on the point of the nose, the first shot. And when I did, she went down and started trying to bite me right here. So I'm just continuing pounding. And she continued trying to bite me. And like I said, she got a hold of me and shook me a little bit. And then she let go, and then she took a swat at me.
I seen her stand up and rear her paw back, and all I seen was a mouthful of teeth. And I just knew he was going to be gone.
My husband was just attacked by a bear.
We have a lot to be thankful for because we were both very, very lucky.
I could have
him
been
in the
dead.
hip.
I could have been really cut up bad.
Yeah, got him in the hip.
I'm sorry.
By the way,
I still
that
don't buy
family actually comes from a long history of families within their family that actually started the word ain't many, many generations ago. Yeah.
Long time no see from that bear.
Long time no see.
There you have it. Hey, we're going to break. It's 7:32. Hold tight. Free money question is worth $100 this morning, and it is Veterans Day. No mail, no bank, no service, mail service. I mentioned that. No schools, all of that stuff out today. It is the observance of Veterans Day. 7:32 at WIBX. All right, let's do our free money question of the day from the Hobeika Law Firm. Joseph and Andrew Hobeika at 315-724-1600. John and Utica standing by right now. John, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, John, this is yours. You'll have 7 seconds to answer it, and I'm going to tell you the category is In the News. In the News is the category. All right, here we go. Here's your question. Douglas Rain just died. He was the voice of what? Ready, go.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's in today's, might be in the paper even today. Douglas Rain just died. He was the voice of HAL, the computer, in 2001, A Space Odyssey.
Oh, right.
And,
I missed that.
yeah. Well, listen, sit tight. Davey's going to hook you up. We're going to give you a jar of It's a Utica Thing Riggy sauce, which is quite delicious. You got to try it out. It's yours, and Davey will take care of you, all right?
Thank you.
All right. That comes compliments of Utica Pizza Company, which is doing a grand opening special. Buy a large pizza, any large pizza, get a free large cheese. And there's no coupons or no limits on that. It's a Utica Thing sauce. You've had it.
Oh, yes.
It was kind of taken out of you thought you were going to have some.
I had some before that, actually. And it's funny because several people.
It tastes like legitimate, real Riggy sauce. It is.
You and I know someone, I won't mention the name, but who is in the cooking business and is very good at it, and said to me, "If you tried that, you're going to laugh. Have you tried that? It's a Utica Thing sauce." And I was like, "No way, you and
a jar.
I love it.
Yeah,
a jar, not a glass. Yeah, I love it. I couldn't believe it because he makes a great sauce.
You hear people, I would never use a jar, but this is almost like it's authentic Utica Riggy sauce canned. I look at it that way. So I had a few years ago gotten this hot tub, and it was cold out there the other night, and I talked my wife into let's go out in the hot tub. And it was chilly. It was windy and chilly, and she said, "I don't know, it's too cold out there." No, it's perfectly fine. Let me just make sure there's enough chlorine. I put some chlorine in it, and I go in, and all of a sudden I hear her screaming, like, "What the heck is going on?" I run out, and the breaker had popped. And it was like 45 degrees of water.
Oh, God.
And she got right in. Funniest thing ever.
You don't laugh too hard at a lot of things. That's the hardest I've seen you laugh.
I'm telling you.
In a while.
And there she is, not wanting to get out because it's going to be much colder when you get out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the wind's blowing, and I'm like, well, you're going to have to get out.
When she pulled the top off and didn't see any steam, I was wondering.
Well, you did. I'm the one that lifted the top up, and you did. I just thought it was working. Turned the thing on. It's got the bubbles and all the stuff. All's good. Threw a little chlorine in there just to make sure we're safe. And the steam did come off because it was cold out.
Honey, jump in.
Yeah.
Jump right in there.
You'll love it. That's funny.
Administrators at Colorado State University say students should not use the phrase "long time no see." I talked about this earlier. I guess it's okay. Well, they're saying that it's derogatory towards Chinese immigrants.
I don't get it. I just don't get it.
That people would use broken English and say, making fun of the Chinese. Long time no see.
What about no soup for you? What about the Seinfeld, no soup for you?
I guess that would be bad. Yeah. What about 10 mini?
Yeah.
That's bad too.
I'm trying to think what other ones may have been.
I love the pork fried rice though. But apparently we've reached a point in the world where we are so nuts about not wanting to offend anyone that you can't say
love you long
anything at
time
all.
is now unacceptable as well.
Love you long time. Yeah, that might not be a good one too.
That's ridiculous. I'm going to use all of those phrases today. That's another one too.
Yeah. A 91-year-old woman named Mary Kennedy. I have all these clips, if you don't mind, from the weekend. Some crazy stuff went on this weekend. 91-year-old woman named Mary Kennedy was shopping at a Walmart in West Palm Beach, Florida, when a guy grabbed her purse, and she wasn't having it. She lunged at him to get it back, so he body slammed her onto the pavement and took off. She's recovering. They caught the guy. God. Mary got her purse back from the sound of her and one of her 5 daughters. She's pretty tough, though. Ain't going to happen again. She's probably lucky to be alive. You never know. And I hate to say, but all these things come back to what? You got to get money because you got to get the drugs. And that's where we are today. It's terrible.
In our previous story, where the 78-year-old man said he was face-to-face with a mama bear.
If only he could have been there.
To a wrestling match with her. I
punched
think
the guy in the nose.
If he had
was
drugs.
on drugs.
Yeah, I was going to say, he would have been a good...
A new study out says your nose... Pinocchio lied, by the way. A new study out says your nose actually shrinks when you lie. It's because the temperature of your nose drops when you lie. Now that you'd be able to tell with the naked eye... here's the scene, if you remember from... It's shrinking because you're lying. That's what they say. And in case you haven't heard, KFC now has chicken and waffles for a limited time.
I just saw this. It's
Who does that?
It's KFC. The commercial is a Dirty Dancing theme.
It was just announced yesterday.
With Colonel Sanders and Mrs. Butterworth, the bottle.
Oh, yeah.
And he's got it propped up over his head.
I did see that.
And does the lift from Dirty Dancing. Yeah. Here's the audio on that one.
They actually pulled the commercial because they used Mrs. Buttersworth instead of, what was the other brand?
Aunt Jemima.
Aunt Jemima, yeah.
No.
Too offensive.
I just... I had them once before. It's not really my thing. Waffles
Chicken and waffles?
Yeah,
me
There's
neither.
a place out in Syracuse called Funkin' Waffles, and I am a chicken and waffles guy.
Well, man. But if you don't like the waffles, you can drink from the bar. That place has a bar.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a full breakfast place. That is a cool place.
It is cool.
They just closed, though. They opened up a restaurant in Rochester, which just closed. But the Syracuse one is really, really good.
And it's like not even just chicken and waffles, but they have
everything,
other flavors of chicken and waffles.
Yep. They also it's dressed up. The place is kind of dressed up like an old soda fountain shop, and so you can get milkshakes in there that are really cool. You can get alcohol.
What
milkshakes.
better to get? Yeah.
Just keep in mind that my daughter does dance competitions, and the theater is right next door to Funkin' Waffles. So on a long weekend of hours and hours and hours and hours of waiting for your daughter to dance, we sometimes find ourselves over there. It's a pretty cool place if you want to check it out. 7:55 at WIBX. John Decker standing by right now. And John, good morning.
Hey, good morning to you. How are you doing today?
Wonderful. The search for Attorney General is on. The question is the interim, how long is he going to stay, and is it legal? Can the president... break this down for us, if you could.
Sure. There's a lot of questions concerning the appointment of Matt Whitaker to be the acting Attorney General. You know, this is something that typically when you have someone leading the Justice Department, they are Senate confirmed. That's not the case with Matt Whitaker. Now, how long he holds that position, we don't know because the president has not indicated when he will nominate a permanent replacement for Jeff Sessions. So what we do know is that Democrats say they will look into this matter when they take over the House of Representatives in January. Until then, Matt Whitaker remains the acting Attorney General, and nothing can change that. Nothing that the Democrats do can change that fact. And, this is something that he can continue to operate and oversee, by the way, the Robert Mueller investigation while he is acting Attorney General.
Now, this past weekend, obviously, there was the big question, because he's been critical of Mueller and the investigation, and even gave a possibility of how a new Attorney General could come in and basically just stop the investigation by pulling funding. So, the question would be, you know the optics. You have to believe the president totally knows how this is going to look, but he did it anyway. It's very interesting. I wonder what the strategy is.
Well, let's see. I don't know, obviously. We don't know what the future holds. We do know, as you mentioned, that Matt Whitaker did previously talk about how an acting Attorney General could shut down the Mueller investigation. He was responding to a hypothetical question about a possible scenario, including the selection of an Attorney General who cuts Mueller's budget. But in reality, it would be difficult to bring the investigation to an immediate halt, given the budget process. And Mueller actually appears to be wrapping it up anyway. And so that's where we stand right now. And I also believe beyond that Mueller has transferred some of the crux of his investigation up to the U.S. Attorney's Office in New York, the Southern District of New York. So even if you shut down Mueller, and I think he's anticipated this, the investigation continues at the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District of New York. So those are all things that the White House has to consider going forward as it relates to Matt Whitaker.
And, John, what's your take? A lot of people on both sides even kind of questioning Whitaker's experience for a job like this, and even some dealings that he's had prior would make him maybe someone that isn't eligible to become Attorney General.
Well, he has been confirmed before. The president pointed that out on Friday as the U.S. Attorney in the state of Iowa, where he's from. That being said, Bob Mueller, unlike what the president said, has also been confirmed as the FBI director by the full Senate. So they've both been confirmed in previous iterations of previous jobs that they've held. That being said, I don't know Matt Whitaker. I imagine he's certainly eminently qualified for the position that he is now holding as the acting Attorney General. But, a lot can change come January when Democrats retake control of the House and investigations begin. And in addition to that, a Democrat from New York will head the House Judiciary Committee, and you can certainly imagine that Matt Whitaker will be hauled up to the House Judiciary Committee to answer a lot of the questions that actually you're asking me today, so he can answer them for himself. One
other one. Can you see any strategy of, let's say that Mueller comes out and he has some it's a little tough for the president, and there are some accusations, they've uncovered some stuff. Could there be an advantage to having someone in there who's close to the president and might be willing to defend the president in proceedings going forward, even if he's interim?
Well, absolutely. You want to have someone in there who's going to defend the president, and that's let's face it, it's a political appointment. So Jeff Sessions would certainly be defending the president if he was still the Attorney General, and whoever is the next Attorney General, some other names that have been mentioned include Rudy Giuliani, former mayor of New York City, also Chris Christie, former governor of New Jersey, but there may be some other names as well. To answer your question, it would actually be helpful for the president to have Matt Whitaker in there. If a report comes out from Bob Mueller that's not so favorable to the president.
Right. And, of course, Sessions had recused himself. A lot of people asking, Democrats certainly asking for Whitaker to do that. I don't see that happening anytime soon.
No, I don't either. I do not see that happening. That's one of the reasons why. I believe that, the president put Matt Whitaker in there for a purpose, and he probably got an assurance from Mr. Whitaker that he would not recuse himself from anything related to the Mueller investigation. So that's not happening. You're absolutely right on that.
John Decker, Fox News, as always, we appreciate your time.
Thanks a lot. Have a great day.
You too. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
He's the only, I think on the entire Fox News team, he's the only attorney. And I believe he's an attorney in D.C. So always a good one to get on to talk about this stuff. Hold on tight. We're coming right back at WIBX. Good morning, Ron. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Bill.
called you Mark Butler earlier, and I'm like, well, you guys I think worked together at some point. But yeah.
Oh, with Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually many years ago when I was at the Herkimer Evening Telegram, 1979, we used to play basketball together. He's about a foot taller than I am, but we used to play basketball together at the Little Falls YMCA.
Yeah. Let's talk about, before we get into any of the high school action, how about Colgate? What did they've outscored their opponents like 80 million to nothing, or now it's 6 over the course of, they're just killing teams, and they won again over the weekend, 48-6 against Lehigh.
Yeah, that was that's actually the first time they've allowed a touchdown since season opening win over Holy Cross. And, I'm not going to downplay what Colgate's done, obviously, but I don't think the Patriot League is really strong from top to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, there's the top, that's Colgate, and then there's everybody else because, Colgate's just been rolling every single game since a fairly close game against Holy Cross in the opener. But now they got Army. That could be a great. Hey, this coming week, Bill, we got Colgate at Army, and then we've got Syracuse versus Notre Dame at MetLife Stadium.
And both you'll be able to see that Colgate game on at noon. That's on CBS Sports, so a sports network. So you're going to be able to watch both of these games. And then Friday night, Syracuse is going to be playing in New York. It's a huge weekend. And how about Syracuse, ranked 12th for the first time in 20 years?
How about when's the last time the football team's been ranked higher than the basketball?
Yeah, think about that. You're absolutely right. It's
that
crazy.
Doesn't happen very often.
Yeah,
I can't remember the last time. So.
I know.
The football team a lot of fun to watch, obviously. And hey, I think they've got a future there too because you can't take away from what Eric Dungy's meant. He's sort of like the heart and soul of that team, but. When he's gotten the chance, the opportunity, Tommy DeVito's really sees the opportunities that he's had too. So, and he's only a freshman. So, I what Dino Babers has done there, just I don't know, brought it back to life. There's a pulse there now that, and it was good to see the other night. So many fans come out to the Carrier Dome because let's face it, Carrier Dome. For basketball, 32,000 is great. Football, there've been a lot of empty seats, and the other night at least 49,000 something like that.
Yeah, it was
for senior night. That was good to see.
It was great. I was actually there for that game. Really cool. Now I want to ask you, what has Syracuse got to hold on to Babers? When you look at salaries. His salary is way low.
He's the second least paid in
around
the ACC, Wake Forest.
In the ACC, and when you compare him to coaches around the country too, don't you think Syracuse has got to step up here if they want this program to be a real comeback for the program?
Oh my gosh, without a doubt, I'd hate to see him go after what he's done in 3 years.
Yeah,
there's excitement there now. There's enthusiasm and again, they're fun to watch. And if you see clips of him, pre-game speeches and post-game speeches, wouldn't you love to play for the guy?
Oh, it's
I'm
unbelievable.
almost 62, and I'd love to play for the guy.
I know. He can inspire you to want to play, even though it'd be very painful. Anyway, listen. The fact is, they got to step up here if they want this thing to last. Now. To high school, we did lose. We lost some teams over the weekend as they've gone beyond sectional play into state play.
Well, hey, first let's start with Holland Patton and the fall season that the boys and the girls have had there. On the same weekend, you had the football team playing in the state quarterfinals. You had the girls soccer team, Josh Olney's soccer team, win a state semifinal and then lose in yesterday's state championship game, and that's a program that had never won a Section 3 title. And a week or so ago, you had the field hockey team win a sectional title. So 3 Section 3 titles in the same fall season for Holland Patton. It's like paint this fall purple and gold, and because the Golden Knights have been great. Something to be proud of. I know the community and the school have rallied around those teams, those sports teams. I think their swimming program had a great season as well. The football team, hey, let's face it. I know Coach Brian Briggs said the other day after losing to Susquehanna Valley that he wouldn't be surprised if his team just lost to the eventual state champion. And Susquehanna Valley's now 11-0. But give Holland Patton credit. They won their first league title, I think, since '91. They won their first section title since '89, and then they make it to the state quarterfinals. And they were one of the last 8 Class C football teams playing in the state. And at the time, there were only 3 unbeatens, and they were one of them. So finishing 10-1 and making it to the state quarterfinals for a team led by 20 seniors. After going, I think they won 3 games last year. So just a great fall success story for Holland Patton sports. And then on the other hand, you have Little Falls girls soccer also making it to the state championship game yesterday before losing, and they lost to an undefeated state-ranked number 1 Stillwater team from the Albany area, who I think played in the state championship game last year. So. I mean, it put our area on the map, put the valley on the map, let's face it. And, we're just about done with the fall season. We have state swimming championships coming up this weekend. I know Mark Wells Slaughter is doing a story, working on a story today as a preview to that. And, hey, we shouldn't forget, I call them individual team sports.
Yep.
But in cross-country this past weekend, I don't know, a lot of people may have not have noticed it because of SU football success and other high school sports teams still playing in the States. But Clinton senior Eva Borton going to Long Island and winning a Class C cross-country state championship, the first for Clinton girl since 1988.
Wow.
And she led her team to a 3rd-place finish. They made it as a team. They deserve a lot of respect, too, for coming home with a state championship. Eva Borton has been 3-time Section 3 champion. I think she's going to she hopes to go run at Williams College. She's a brilliant young lady and a very nice young lady who actually led her team to the States for the first time in almost 30 years as a team. So we got to give them some love too. They had a great year.
So we've had fall season, hard to believe, but Thanksgiving comes in just less than 2 weeks. And we'll be into the Christmas season, which means wrestling and basketball, all of that just around the corner.
And you talked about Notre Dame and Syracuse football. I believe SU will get a test Thursday night. The basketball team up against UConn. I think it's at Madison Square Garden. That'll be nationally televised as well. So
they'll be playing in New York Thursday and Friday, and the football team plays at Yankee Stadium on Saturday. Big week in New York City for New York's college team, Syracuse University.
And, hey, did you notice Utica College football, 75 points at Hartwick on Saturday?
Yeah.
I realize Hartwick's had a down year. I think they wound up 2-8, but what Malcolm Stowe rushed for, 228 and 4 touchdowns, that was a great finish for Utica College football, too, so. A lot going on here.
Certainly a lot going on. Ron Mosier, we appreciate the update, and we'll talk again soon for your basketball preview.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Ron Mosier with Utica OD. Thanks so much. And uticad.com. Got a break? Hold on. We'll wrap this up. And you've seen that home improvement show, Chip and Joanna there. They were getting done, right? Well, not really. They've announced they're coming back. We'll explain what that is all about. Coming up at WIBX. Today, of course, going to be a pretty nice day today. We'll be in the mid-40s or so, right?
And then did you look at the
sunshine
extended forecast?
Oh, yeah, it's going to be cold.
It's February from now until February.
Yeah.
Well, I should only say it's only a 10-day forecast.
Bad, but 28, the high one day, right?
Yeah, and every night it's around 25 to 21 to 28 degrees.
Cold. Yep.
Your windshield will be frozen when you come in.
All right, so Chip and what's her face there? What is it? Chip and Joanna
Gaines is there?
Yeah, the name of the program is what? Fixer Upper? Is it the Fixer Upper program?
Something like that.
So they were getting done. Listen to this. Talk about, and they have to be like the hottest thing in home improvement TV. One of the hottest things on TV, period. They were on HGTV, and they're done. So they finish off, and now they're being courted by everybody, wants them to do another show. So they kept saying no. So now they've teamed up with Discovery, which apparently owns HGTV. I didn't know that. They own quite a few of them. And they're getting their own network. Yeah. So they went from having a TV show to now they're going to have a TV show on their own network.
Wow.
Where other home improvement TV shows will be. And it's going to be called the Magnolia Network, which is their company, Magnolia.
Wow.
You follow that? My wife watches this show all the time.
And there's a game out now where you can be Chip and Joanna, where you go and it's like The Sims was, where you get a piece of property, you have a budget,
you fix it up.
got to fix up the house.
Yeah.
I think that's stupid. But you know what's funny is one of the TVs that you advertised on the big Black Friday Today deal was called the Magnolia, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I wonder if that's from it. Probably
That's
not.
funny. No.
The biggest stars on HGTV, they quit last fall but have aggressively been courted. Now the fixer-uppers are partnering with Discovery, and the network will be called Magnolia. So that, I don't know how long, maybe take about 10 months or so for this to be up and rolling. I have no idea. It's going to take a little while,
She's
but it's
super
coming.
cute, if I can say that.
Well, you did. Last week, Pete Davidson, I just want to end with this because I think it's Veterans Day and it's worth. Pete Davidson did a joke on SNL that he received a great deal of criticism from about Congressman-elect Dan Crenshaw, who had lost an eye in Afghanistan. He made fun of the guy because he wears a patch. Anyway, over the weekend on Saturday Night Live, Congressman-elect Crenshaw showed up on set and kind of made fun of Pete Davidson. And it was funny. Listen to this.
I mean this from the bottom of my heart. It was a poor choice of words. The man is a war hero, and he deserves all the respect in the world. And I'm sorry.
Thank you, Pete. I appreciate you saying that.
So we good?
We're good. Apology accepted.
Just keep breathing.
That's Ariana Grande, his ex-girlfriend.
Yes.
It seemed like the ringtone.
Yeah, and I was just going to let it ring because that's rude to answer it. Let's just let it go to voicemail.
No, it's cool. Ariana Grande's cool, man. Yeah.
Oh, do you know her?
All right, so that's funny. All right. So, last week, I made a joke about a picture of you, and I feel like it would only be fair if you got me back and made fun of a picture of me. Does that sound okay?
I don't really need to do that.
No, come on. I deserve it.
All right, I'll do
Please? All right.
And now, first impressions with Lieutenant Commander Dan Crenshaw.
Thanks, Colin. This is Pete Davidson. He looks like if the meth from Breaking Bad was a person.
He had some funny jokes, but at the end, he had a message of unity, which was really cool
There's
for
a lot
Veterans
of
Day.
lessons to learn here. Not just that the left and right can still agree on some things, but also this: Americans can forgive one another. We can remember what brings us together as a country and still see the good in each other. This is Veterans Day weekend, which means that it's a good time for every American to connect with a veteran. Maybe say thanks for your service, but I would actually encourage you to say something else. Tell a veteran, never forget. When you say never forget to a veteran, you are implying that, as an American, you are in it with them. Not separated by some imaginary barrier between civilians and veterans, but connected together as grateful fellow Americans who will never forget the sacrifices made by veterans past and present, and never forget those we lost on 9/11, heroes like Pete's father.
Pretty awesome. He lost his father in 9/11. So, by the way, Veterans Day at Heritage Healthcare Center, they're holding a Veterans Club social going on today in the main living room. A little shout out to those guys over there at Heritage.